again. I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it.
Encore une autre fidèle qui l'Amérique n'a pas bloqué nous. Quand il y a Sylvie, il y a quoi qui j'ai vous fait presse. L'Amérique n'a pas bloqué. T'as mon bien de moi avec moi nous deux. En ce moment, on va battre au moins néo. Mon temps dit est à mon moyen. On s'en bat bien pour moi dit quoi. Toi, là l'occasion yo. Quand on soit du loin, allez, envoyez. Battu au loin. Yao, abela lokeyo, bibito jobai, bibito nomba, artiste mo peyo. Manager Gigi, ouais t'es jamais forcé ou, si tu connais, tu connais. L'animateur Choco Noska Yassin de Toyebli, l'homme a tout fait pour Mivito, Aniche les vieux.
Henry, I can tell you the problem of this country with respect to prices, with respect to health, with respect to education, and largely tied to roads. There are no roads. You don't see opportunities where they should be when you don't have roads. From up to 173 years, we only have one road. How do you know what is happening in Bapolu when you don't have roads? You don't go there. The prices of goods, commodities on the market are high because to get them to where they are needed. So there's no way you can, when I talk about road, I'm not talking about putting road on the sidewalk in Monrovia, $50,000 road and make it $3 million. We're talking about roads that will open up the country. We're talking about roads that will open up opportunities, roads that will get businesses going, and dependency reduced because people believe their goods and commodities can get to the market. That's what we're talking about.
Le père votre vignon. Cadeau. Baïmanoa. Ablénoa. En soit tout le peu Ablénoa. Moi, dans Kai. Fond de siate de Sébi. Zouzou.
Good evening, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Pub Radio. I'm going to be talking truly blind here this evening because somebody came in the studio here and took my earpiece, and the person left $1.30. Good morning, Dad. I'm taking your earpiece to school because mine is not working. And since I do not want to take your earpiece freely, I'm leaving $1.30 for your pain and suffering. Sincerely, your daughter, Dana. Love you. Bye. For pain and suffering. Taking my earpiece, my other earpiece, taking it, and then she said for pains and suffering. $1.30. Smart. But that's America. You do that thing to me in total. You take my earpiece and he give me that $1.30. Then he said for first thing first. No, let me pray to God first before I go run my mouth. Safety. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening. We want to thank you for the wonderful life that you are giving us. We want to thank you for everything. We want to thank you for the blessing. We want to thank you for everything. We want to thank you for your guidance. As we move through the life, you continue to guide us. You started guiding us from the time we were born. You're still guiding us. We appreciate it. Those of us that know you and believe in you, we know nothing is impossible. But God, we will continue to come to you, pray to you, ask you to guide the Liberian leadership, the incoming and the outgoing. Guide the Liberian process, the electoral process is done. But whatever policy that they're going to have, my God, help us. We ask that you give us wisdom here again tonight as we engage our brothers and sisters. We ask, my Lord, to bless the Republic of Liberia and bless the host country of the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. Now I can go and talk about Tabatana. Hey, you do that kind of thing to me in total. The first thing, I call your mom, people say, you can't get your daughter. I want my $140. I want my $140. Then after that, you the girl that and the people say you can't send girl to school, and I send you to school, and you do the one, you take my earpiece, hey, ma, take $1. I want another $180. Give me my money. Go. Let me tell you guys this here before I go on. Speaking about a daughter, I'm not going to call names, but there's a lady much older now. There's a lady here in the East Coast. Let's put it this way, behind Providence. She lives in a town behind Providence. I don't want to say what town, but anyhow, when I was growing up, I was all with my dad. So my dad used to tell me the story about this lady. That the father, they are Nima Crown, by the way, but the father of this lady wanted this girl to be educated so much that before the girl was even born, according to the story, he went and bought, you got to buy a woman, you got to marry a woman, marry a lot of wives. And with the big cocoa farm, coffee farm. So send the girl to school, to Tapeta. Girl was in school, paid the girl school fee with the coffee money, with the cocoa money. And so one time the Ivorian refused to buy cocoa. True story too. Refused to buy Liberian cocoa. They were just buying Ivorian cocoa. So the old man looked at it and said, "Oh, I don't get money in cocoa and coffee this year. Okay." They took the first two wives, say, "Yo, go back to your place, I want my money." They gave them money, put it on those, pay the woman's school fee. He finished, he did it, he did all the women there, he turned them back, he take the money, pay the girl school fee. So the girl coming graduate now, no money. He said, look at the girl money. He said, I want my daughter to graduate. So finally, years ago, I met this lady in Rhode Island, and I asked her. I asked for her name. She said, yes, that's my name. So I know the father's name because there's always been a song from my father. He's always calling it because he was so impressed. My father was so impressed with this guy sending his daughter to school and doing all that, turning all the wives, sending them back for, getting money so the girl can finish. So so my dad used to tell me the guy name. So I still know the name. So I asked, is this your father? He said, yeah. So I said, you mind if I ask you a question? She said, no, I don't mind. So I look at, we were sitting around the table. It was some sort of a gathering. So I thought to myself, if I ask a question like that, everybody listening. So I asked her, you care if we walk on the side here? Let me ask you a question. She said, she looked at the husband. The husband said, fine, here, go. So we went on the side. So I brought it up. Her eyes were red like a teary eye because the father had died. Then she started laughing. I said, how did you know? I said, my father used to tell me the story. Even when we were in Bapa, Dickin Dama, my father used to tell me the story. She said, yeah, that's true. As you can see, I'm an LU graduate, all because of his effort. And every time this story comes about, it just brings tears to my eyes. But I did what I could while he was alive. So I said, did he send your mom back to her people? Said no, because the people refused. The people said the woman finishing with school now, you're making money that now we don't want her again. So he kept my mom. But I did all of that to make sure they enjoyed themselves before they passed. I thought that when my daughter writing this thing, that story just came back to me. I mean, some of us would do all we can to make sure that our children get the best in life. And this is a true story. A true story of this man doing that so the girl will be sent to school. She still lives in behind behind Providence, Rhode Island. Okay. So, but that's the story. I just thought I'd tell you that. Okay. So today, folks, if you're listening, Samson to LIBERIA, folks, those of you that are on this platform, LPR analysts, I sent a link out already. So you want to join, you're free to do so. If you don't want to join, you're not free to do so. Okay, let me welcome all of you first. Thank you very much. Welcome you folks. Okay. Samson to LIBERIA Radio. So the reason why I'm going all around here, because I said I was going to do this show strictly on President Weah situation where he goes in his church and saying why, doubting and surprised why would Liberians give the country back to, according to the country back to the people who harm and kill their children. So if you do this, you give the country back to these people and they don't do anything, don't complain. Because we thought you brought us in so that we will help you. We brought democracy, true democracy in the country. But what President Weah fails to mention in that, he also, along with the democracy that he's talking about, he also opened the door to impunity. He opened the door to corruption. And that is why the Liberian people turn the government back to, if he thinks that they turn the government back to the people who harmed them, that is the reason. Most of it. So right now, as you can also, if you notice, my voice is now, usually I stand over there and yell and blah, 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 but it's Christmas time. And brothers and sisters in Liberia that are working are not getting paid. So we have to do what we have to do as usual, as Liberian. This is where I tell President we have fell short, as far as I'm concerned. And this is where Ambassador Baka is so strong in the diaspora community. Because he keep reinforcing the ideas and the mindset of the Liberian diaspora to say you people are doing good and recognizing the effort. So most people, that have family members in Liberia, in the diaspora, most likely will get 1 or 2 cents from their family members. But the sad thing is people are not going to get paid. Because according to the story, Samuel was saying they got money. They can't force them. They don't have money. And now people are saying that CDC-led government is now punishing the folks for not re-electing President Weah. So I'm not too sure how true that story is, but it's out there. It's out there. And one other thing, I'm going to be jumping all over here right now. There's also on social media what we will see the incoming president being measured, tailor, designer, measuring him for suit, whatever it is. But one thing I can assure you, that his suit is not going to be like Mubarak of Egypt suit, where the name of his name was written in the fabric of the suit itself. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be plain, simple, because that's who he is. The father. He's gonna have to, if he's gonna be facing people from all over the world, you don't want your father to come go looking like somebody from Town yesterday. I beg you. Let the man look. The man is Zuta boy anyway. He's our president. Incoming, folks. Incoming. I will do something else here since I have the time this evening. But before that, give me a minute. Before that, let me do this. Since I have the time this evening, many of you that are listening to me right now will truly have a good enjoyment here tonight. It's not an entertainment, but we'll do our best to bring you up to us. I said here the other day President Weah's inaugural speech, as far as I'm concerned, was one of the best, if not the best. I have with me here, in my hand, 10th annual message delivered by Dr. William R. Talbot Jr., President of the Republic of Liberia, to the third section of the 47th legislatures. January 23rd, 1974. How old was I? I'm not going to tell you. At the this is a building that I really love and I used to dance in, at the E.J. Raw building. So some of the interesting thing in this speech, and then I'm going to test it. Yes, I will go there. I will go there. Talbot, in his speech, thinking that he was being gracious and Liberian, native Liberians should be grateful to their effort because at that time, the news of power and the progressive was just hitting Monrovia. It was coming up. People were oh, they say, that's also they say, oh, they sort of book children in America. They're going to get a government out now. So the news was just coming. News was just coming in Monrovia. At that time, the liberal progressive was not as involved as I was later on. 1974, I was in Monrovia. I had just gotten back from wherever that I was staying. I came to Monrovia proper. And when I say, but I refused to go back to Total. I thought to myself, if I go back to, because first thing, I'm lazy. I don't like, well, let me not say I'm lazy. I'm okay. I can do the tree cutting. That I'm very good at. I can be, just like I am with engineering. I'm very good at the tree cutting. You can make steps, 4 or 5 steps of, if you're good country tree cutter, you know what I'm talking about. 4 or 5 steps, the ladders standing on top of each other. I'll be up there cutting the tree. It doesn't matter where you put me. But to brush, I can do that too, but And then the worst of all about farming is the cutting rice that I don't like. Because when you go to cut rice in the morning, if cutting rice, you got to do it in the morning. So when you go in the morning, the fog, it's already, you have settled over the rice leaves and things like that. And those things, when they touch your skin, oh, they eat you. Oh my goodness, I talk about it, my skin dripping. And so I never really liked farming business, but I have big mouth. So when I came to Montreal, after I left from where I was, 1974, I believe it was. So I was not much involved into politics, and I was trying to find my footing in Monrovia. How old was I? 74. You in this day and age, the age I was when I started doing my own thing in Monrovia, and you do it now, they will put you in jail because you're too small. They will not even let you to stay in Monrovia. You what? At that age? I decided to hang around. And as God could have it, few people stuck their neck up for me. Family member, yeah, but the other gentleman was not a family member. We're from the same area, but not a family member. But the guy stuck his neck out for me. And so he found out I'm not a person going around stealing people things. So he sent me on Benson Street to do goldsmith work for Fulani people. So I started doing the goldsmith work. I was very good at that. I used to make elephant tail bracelet. I used to make ring. I used to make banger, a gold banger. And then when we make it, then the guy would take it after, and when we finish shining everything, then he would take it to the Lebanese store Lebanese men's store on Broad Street. And they said, but I don't care how much they pay me at the end of the month, maybe $7, $8. And that's a lot of money. Who cares? So I did it. And then still, the thing was giving me problem was, I think I told you guys a story before. I'll read this thing here. I'll read it. So there was the problem with that was these Maniopo that will come from Guinea and Mali. They like gold chain and gold ring business. And I could face gold chain. You put the thing, they stuff there and draw it. They call it draw it. But seriously, you melt the gold and you make it and put it in the iron, and then you use plier and hold it. And as you hold it, that whole little hole will squeeze the gold until you get it to where you want. Or if you have the means or money, you go to the machine. They put in a machine, you wind it, and then it lengthen. What it does is strengthen the material in it. That's what I'm gonna say. The material in it gold, strengthen it and lengthen the gold process itself. So you take it and you put it around the stuff and you make a ring out of it. As I'm talking, I know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to explain. I go through the process. But anyway, but the problem that I don't like, every week they used to take me to CID headquarters 4 or 5 times a week. The reason would be not because I was stealing. Stealing part, you can go up and down. That's not what I do. Fighting, yeah, but stealing, I don't like it. So, but when they bring the gold, first when the guy bring the gold, sometimes they bring the gold ring and the gold dust. You guys put it on the scale and weigh it. So you give the weight of the gold to the owner. Okay. When you finish, first you put it in the pot, put it in the fire, melt the gold. Now, immediately the weight gonna drop. Then when you finish, going all through the process, filing the gold and things like that, the dust, as you file, the dust get out of it and things like that. The dust, you're not gonna put it back. I mean, you're making a ring or you're making a bracelet. So when the person comes your way, they think they say, oh, but that don't know the way you gave me before. What happened to this one? And they come and accuse you of stealing. Then they call it CID. But at CID, I have my cousin over there. One time he saw me behind the bar. He said, what are you doing here? So I explained to him. He said, man, get out. He called the police, said, get out, boy. You're not seeing stealing before. But with all that, they will always take me in there. So I never really liked it. And I told this gentleman, I don't want to do it anymore. But all that, no school. So I left that one. Then he built me a little booth down Waterside. Waterside is separate, Waterside proper, where I was fixing, because my dad used to fix watches. So I used to wash them, and I know how to fix watches. I still don't know how to. This is why when I fix car, when I do this mechanic job, people don't understand. But I've been fixing things for a very long time. So I used to stay down Waterside and fix watches, you know. I dabble into fixing radio and things like that, but sometimes you can get what LIBERIA call jack. The electric thing can jack you. So I try to stay, but I use a fix washing. But anyway, so let's go back to 1974. I'm telling you now, the year 1974. Why did I do remember that? But Tava and his people, Tava and the two-way party, they were there, and they were just really, really bad on the society. Ladies and gentlemen, as you commence this third section, but I want to read this particular section here, where President Tava made reference to the indigenous Liberians. And that statement really, at those days, who pay attention to anything? You're trying to find pusawa and something to eat. You got time for what politics and what have you. But let me find this part here. I want to read this here. And those of you that keep now, they're going back now to try to prosecute the coup or whatever you want to call it. And I'm saying to them, they need to read some of these things. They need to read it. Listen to this. The Minister of Local Government, Rural Development, and Urban Reconstruction, Tower giving report. We shall continue. We, listen to this. He said, we now. I will read it slowly, but I want you to follow that and listen, please, if you can. And then you can make your own judgment. We shall continue to dedicate our service to the welfare of all the people, especially especially the least fortunate majority. Listen to that again. Listen to that again. This is coming from Tower, Two-Way Party. Let me read that again. You have a country at that time, Liberia, they are according to the population was 1.5 or something million. We shall continue to dedicate our services to the welfare of all the people, especially the least fortunate majority. Fortunate majority. And we shall remain unrelenting in our determination to improve their lots, their life. That's what it is. So how in a country that you're going to have a fortunate majority? Fortunate majority. So that means the Two-Way Party recognized that they were in minority. But the fortunate majority, they're trying to make their life better. So why didn't he just say all the people? But he started separating the fortunate majority and the minority that are in control. You know, I'm not ready yet. When I'm ready one day, my mouth will run again, and people will be surprised. And these are some of the things that I have in my hand. I have a bunch of them. I have speeches by Tauber. I have speeches by Totman. I have speeches by J. Rudolph Grimes. I have speeches by what's his name, Richard Henry. I have speeches by Jean A. Pierre, where he during the trial of Famler, he said, how did we get there? I mean, how did this slave came to America? How did we get there? They sold us. Folks, these are a little bit something. But anyhow, let me go on. One other thing I want to talk about here this evening before I jump into Tabata here this evening. It's Christmas season, so I'm hoping that we all will take that into consideration. Let us continue to pray for one another, and we will do the best. As I stated, I was supposed to come out tonight and talk about President We Are, but it's Christmas season. So because some of the video that I have, they are not something that is of most of them do not portray President We Are in a good light. And it's Christmas season. So I do not want to come across trying to bring something that perhaps will stir the feelings of many Liberians. So I'm going to try to stay away from that one for a little bit. But let me read something here. This is what Dr. Famler Jr., Dr. H.B. Famler Jr. Wrote about Samuel 12 back in 2005, to be specific, February of 2005. Dancing on the ropes. Pretenders and a unique grandness of ignorance, a reply to Samuel D. 12. Red line through Dr. H.B. Famler Jr. character, debunking Fonslake 11. The very rough contour of our recent history have focused us to constantly engage historical vagrants who want to pretend that they understand the trajectory of the historical march and are in a better position to mount the leadership of our people's historic struggle. What these loudmouth chest beaters do not understand and will not comprehend is that it is highly pernicious to write a history of which you know very little and in which you have never participated. This ignorance borders not on the mere ignorance, but also congregated stupidity. Frankly, we can deal with insult and tormentings from these political pagans, but what we can never accept is the childish posture that show that somehow they know it all and or are now new social forces that will alter the direction of our history. Here we have boasters and ignorant juveniles. He was the first one I called Samuel 12 and juveniles. I don't want to point that out. Okay. So today, the court cases again, the former Chief Justice, Honorable Gloria Scott and his people, they were found guilty today. And I understand on the murder trial, I understand the lawyer are saying that they most likely will appeal, but we'll see. We'll see. So let me go to the other story that I want to talk about. Again, Samson to LIBERIA Pub Radio. Give me a minute here. Give me a minute. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about tonight. And the panelists, if you guys get this information, you can join me. If not, I got a big mouth. I can run it all night long. No big deal. So it's Christmas. Christmas coming. Happy Christmas to all of you. Happy New Year to all of you. But let's talk about the incoming government. The incoming government of the Republic of Liberia. I am not too sure what is happening, but I will talk about it anyway. The incoming government, according to a story out there, that the CDC-led government have now they're trying their best. According to Malice speaking about it yesterday from Liberia, he's in Liberia, that the CDC-led government are now opening the door, the floodgate for people to be employed. Employing sedition in those different ministries and agencies. In other words, they are employing those people. They themselves, they cannot pay the wage right now, but they are employing them and in hope that by the time Ambassador Baka takes office, that the people will have already gotten the position. Mali told us that yesterday. And then if from all indication, if you look at the political, I call it political grandstanding, but what will be the end result? Ambassador Baka will come and the wage bill will go up, and Ambassador Baka will have no money to pay these people. So Ambassador Baka will most likely lay them off or fire them. And then they will say, oh, look. The man who been think that he clean, he love Liberia and all that, look what he's doing. Firing people, laying people off. How are these people going to go to work? And I thought to myself, how childish the juveniles really are. And the reason why I read that stuff, I want you to know who was the first person that called Samuel Toy and the rest of the people juveniles. How childish can it be? But I'm not surprised, because CDC from the onset have always behaved as though they drink water through their noses or something like that. We're all Liberian. Nobody's stupid. All of us Liberian. We know how the system, how we operate in Liberia. You want to bring people in so that when Ambassador Baka come in, the play will be full already, so that those that he might bring in to help move the country forward, so that he won't have space? Are you kidding me? And you think the Ambassador Baka and his people are going to accept that? Blackmailing them? You got to be kidding. President Weah also stated on one of the videos, he said he would make us, he said he would, his parting speech will be about what they met when they came in 2018 and what they're leaving with this incoming government. That would be an interesting subject. That would be an interesting subject for us to dissect. I can't wait. Because what are you going to say? What exactly? How much you leaving in there? If people are not getting paid, Christmas, you don't got money to pay them. And you're talking about what you're going to leave in there? What are you going to leave in there? Why you can't pay the people now? If you're going to leave money in there, why you can't pay the people? He said he's going to have some sort of a documentary evidence what they have done. For me, that's what I'm looking for. Let's see what have they done? What have they done? What have they done? Your Minister of Public Works, a young lady, saying that she'll be very happy if the incoming government asks her to stay and she'll be working. Yeah. What have you done? What are some of the things that you have done that will impress the incoming government to keep you? What? In public works? What? Show me. The little piece of highway, Ralphie Highway that you're building right now, I show the picture, people, engineers all over the world will start crying. The thickness, the pavement thickness alone will make people to start crying because people can see it from the edge. They can see how thick the pavement is. And that's the same pavement thickness that you expect to put 8-wheelers. You know how much those 8-wheeler will? Their weight alone would damage that thing in less than 6 months. And you want people to keep you? Good luck. We're here. But that's not what I want to talk about tonight. I'm just throwing those things in there. But that's not what I want to talk about. The incoming government. So far, so good. I have not seen anything to give me reason to be concerned in terms of their policy. I will hope that they will not do like what Samson would do. When our president, I brought in everybody from Total. Anybody not from Total, even if you're from Bogota, say you're not working. Only people from Total. I hope Ambassador Barker will not do why they were my own a Republic of Total. Because that would be unacceptable. But on a very serious note, Ambassador Barker keep emphasizing inclusiveness. I hope that it's not just paper and mouth talk, that it should be a serious conversation. And the implementation part of it should not just be inclusiveness by people giving your money. Let the people CV talk for them. I give you my paperwork. You read through it, the position I'm applying for, if my qualification, if it fit that position, and if I have 10 other persons alone who has similar qualification, you weigh the qualification and you call us for interview. And we sit for interview and explain ourselves, explain our experiences, explain what we have done on these jobs that we have that we're claiming to be experiencing. And you have a panel of interviewers. They don't have to, say for example, in the engineering field, because that's what I'm saying, that don't come back and tell me, say, I'm looking for a job. I will block you right away. Nobody looking for anything. I'm just using myself as an example. So you call us for interview. And those interviewers themselves don't have to be engineers, but at least they must have knowledge of what exactly they're looking for from an engineer. And then you go and let these people explain themselves. You do that 1 or 2 areas, people will start respecting the process. In 2018, during we have CDC coming to power when they have the inaugural, immediately after the inaugural program, that night, the next day, word started getting around that people were collecting money for them to be, for people to get jobs. You say you want this job, yeah, it's going to cost you X $1, and you will pay. If you want that job, you pay. As Samson told from Total, I'm going to pay for a job. The only job I will pay for because I don't know how to do it. If I want to find an administrative job, yeah, I will pay for it because I don't know anything about it. I want to eat money there, yeah, I will pay for it because I don't know anything about it. But me, I'm going to pay you for me to come do engineering job. Halaba halasida, God forbid. You can keep your job. Fasten. I will not get you to come do an engineering job. Fasten. I will not pay you. I give you my CV if I want a job now. I give you my CV. If you think, say, I'm not qualified, go. But one cent you will not get from me for a big area that I helped train myself in school. I work all these years, suffer. I know it now. I'm gonna pay for it for me to help you. Then please find a place to sit down. But anyway, it's not about me. So these people, if they want to be inclusive, as they're saying they will be, I believe Ambassador Barker is very serious. But they need to find capable people to seriously have interview with. Open it up. If it's a finance ministry, put it out there. Let these young people with finance experience and what have you, let them vouch for these positions. Let them apply. Those who can make, and when they apply, don't take kickback, don't take money from anybody. Those who are going to be the interviewer, let them sit face to face, ask them questions based on the criteria set by Ambassador Barker, what exactly he's looking for in these kinds of positions. And those position qualification paper will be sent out for people to read in advance. You want to be the painter. How do you make paint? What are some of the things you need to do in order for your paint to last long? Those kinds of things. And the reason I'm bringing these things out, they will help to stabilize the corrupt behavior in the country. The corrupt behavior in this country is getting on nowhere. Nowhere. And here's the thing here. The few that have the opportunity right now, if America to open their doors and say, we will take 5,000 Liberia every month, that country will be empty in less than 3 years. In less than 3 years. Well, let me do the math. I better not run my mouth like that. There are what? Every month, I said 5,000 people every month. Samson, that's 60,000 a year. Okay, I said 3 years. 180,000. I take it back. No, but I have to exaggerate, please. Samson, so folks, I like to do these kind of stuff because they make me laugh. The country, 5,000 people a month, the country will be, the country of 5.7 million. Are we 5? Yeah, 5.7 million. The country will be empty in 3 years. No, okay, let me do that. If America opened and said we'll take a million people a year, okay, now we can empty in 3 years. 3 years, you're not even going to be able to empty 5.7 million. But anyway, folks, I'm having fun here. But on a very serious note, the reason why we're suffering. And when I started the program here, I told you guys about a lady that lives not too far from Providence, Rhode Island, who is from the Nima, one of the Nima citizens, but we call our brothers and sisters the Nima Crown. And I told you guys how this lady father, from the time before the lady was born, this man went and married 6, 7, 8 wives, and purposely told himself, I will use each of these women, the money I'm paying to the people. If I don't have any money, I give back woman to the people that get my money. I pay my. And he did that. And the girl, she graduated from high school, graduated at LU as well. True story. She lives. I talked to her before. I brought this story up. She lives. I'm not going to call the place because people are going to know. But she lives behind Providence, Rhode Island. But anyhow, the point that I'm making here is this. Liberia is bigger than Monrovia. Monrovia is not Liberia. And I'm not trying to say that Liberian diaspora don't have much to contribute. That's not what I'm saying here. And that's not what I'm arguing either. But we should not consider ourselves to be the know-all for Liberia. There are Liberians that live in Liberia that are just as qualified as many of the Liberian diaspora. So those prospects, those Liberians that are living in Liberia, must first be interviewed before we or anybody from the diaspora can come in. Why am I saying this? Let's just take, for example, I'll use myself again. I've been out of Liberia since 1908. I'm still connected. But if you take me right now and say, we're getting total, it's okay, Samson, let's go to Montpellier. But we're going to Montpellier, we're not going to go through Bloomtown. We're not going to go through Beacon. We're going to go through Boca Town and go through Nyinawe and then go through KJBB before you go to Beacon. I mean, before you go to I call it Montpellier. Those things are still in my mind. But once we get off of the road in Boca Town and go to Bambitruke, I'm lost. I have no clue. I know when you get to Bambi Truka, you're supposed to make a left. I know that one. But where do I make the left? That I don't know anymore. So if I leave from here and say, because I used to live in Mwempliwe, Mr. President, let me help to develop Mwempliwe. Do I even know how to get to Mwempliwe anymore? Why would I not? Because this is a farming situation. So we'll help develop farming strategy in the area. But Mwempliwe is very good. But I'm not the only person that know Mwempliwe. There's another guy called Srechadi. Srechadi know Mwempliwe. And Srechadi still lives in the Mwempliwe area. Why would they not take Srechadi, who is currently in Mwempliwe, to help to develop Mwempliwe, and then bring in Samson to, who have not seen Mwempliwe in almost 50 some more years. But when I left Mwempliwe, I was just about 5 or 6 years or something like that. Why would I leave Sacramento and then I say I want to be the town chief of Mwempliwe? You see where I'm going with this ridiculous thing here? So the idea that I'm bringing up, let's make these brothers and sisters that lives in Liberia, let them be interviewed, even if you want to mix it up. Let's do it. But if you just depend on the Liberian diaspora to lead, to go, because they have the education, they have X, Y, and so does Liberian back home as well. I'll give you an example. There's a project that I worked on. And we were looking for a geotech, and those are people that deal with soil, what the soil makeup of the area would be, how strong the soil to be able to support the truck weight, and all kinds of stuff. I can't do that myself. I'm an engineer. But they hired this young kid, young, very young. And this young kid, I left them over there. I came back because it was time for me to come back. So when I came back to the state, I got a call one afternoon, and he was introduced to me. So I said, oh, okay. My mindset, and I will be honest with you here, my mindset of this young man, the fact that he's educated, but he got an education in Liberia, and I'm thinking, geotechnical person, you got to do X, Y, and Z, because if we have to put wall in, you got to make sure the wall able to withstand the soil weight and all kind of good things were coming through my mind. I said, okay, so what are you going to do for us? He said, well, Mr. Toh, I'm going to go ahead and do the study first, and then I'll do the structure section. The structure section is how thick the pavement going to be. But in order for you to do the thickness of the pavement, you have to know the soil the pavement going to sit on. As to whether that soil able to support the weight of the pavement and the truck that going to be driving on it. And what kind of truck they're going to be driving on. All that weight, you have to calculate, because the weight of a truck, it don't go down like this. It go like this. Okay, you don't know that one. Forget it. So I said, okay. So why don't you go ahead, because I've seen some geotech report before. I have written some myself. I said, okay, why don't you go ahead and put something together? My goodness. This young man and my other son, who I consider to be a son, very smart young. But I'm not surprised because he's from Lofa. Lofa people are very smart, very smart. So this young man, and two of them, they went out in the field. They were in the field, and I called my son. How's it going, man? He said, oh, Mr. Toh, we're here working. I said, okay. What are you guys doing there? So he told me. When I was there during the survey section, this young man went with me out in the field. He was there taking notes. I was there taking pictures, because I like to do most of the design based on the picture, because I like to see what is there. Because I'm not going to visit the field every time from America. So this young man went, they did all the study, all the Akabor, all of the California carbon plate to design stuff. He did all those things. And then he sent me his report. So when I read the report, I thought to myself, this is a joke. this young man went on some sort of a website and did a copy and paste. Who in LIBERIA already kind of thing. So I called them and I had a Zoom meeting with them. So I asked him. I started asking some serious technical questions. And I asked one question, he will answer more than 4 or 5 times before I get to the next question. By the time he was done answering all my questions, I'm like, what? Then by the time he was done, as I'm talking, I'm getting emotional again. I started feeling bad for them. I started feeling real bad for both him and my son. I started feeling real bad for them. How is it, as smart as these kids are, as young as he is, as young as the other young men who are considered to be my son, also master degrees in highway design, why would they? I thought to myself, why are they wasting their time in Liberia? Why can't they leave to go somewhere else that will make good living? Because they're smart. I got his report here. And based on his report, I was able to design my stuff. And I have no issue with it. Because it's a revetment role type deal. I'm not going to go into more than that. But he was able to give me his calculation, how thick the base of the revetment is supposed to be, what is the side slope of the embankment of the revetment, and the side slope based on the ocean wave and the energy being dissipated against the rocks. Oh, he did all that in Monreal. I'm thinking to myself, wow. So the reason I'm bringing this thing up, we shouldn't sit down here in the diaspora and thinking our brothers and sisters over there, they're all just like the sour people. No, there are some young people, very intelligent, smart, highly educated, and they know their work. You guys, years ago, maybe 6 months or so ago, I brought in the Liberian Engineering Society president, Dali Toll. And you heard him here explaining. When I went to Liberia 2 years or so ago, we went to Liberian Engineering Society convention in Banga. And I attended that. Very impressed. Very impressed. They're very smart. But no opportunity. No opportunity. And those who claim to be engineers, smart as well. But when they give them the opportunity, because they have sedition, sour, so they pack them over there to public work because they're sour people. And those who are not sour, when I was there, they used to come to my office, Mr. Tor, we yell. So I said, but why I can't go there? Over there? You go there. If you don't sing their sour song, they will not even look at you. So most of the people they have there are just sour people. So when we went on this same project, I went to Minister of Public Works. And I brought up my design and what have you, and took this kid with me. And one of the sour guy, when I brought up some stuff, he has no clue, none whatsoever. You know what he told me? Mr. Todan, how would do AL? Engineering is different from it's a standard, international standard. But the same guy wrote in their term of reference, the same guy, he wrote that I have to follow AASHTO, which is the standard, international standard of highway design. But when I brought it up, things that they were doing that I don't want to do, I want to follow the standard. He said, nah, that's how we do it. So on a piece of paper, they want you to follow the standard, but in real life, they don't want you to do what you're supposed to do. So I'm hoping Terry is here. Thank you for joining us, Terry. Let me bring you in quickly. If you're ready, just put your thumb up and I'll bring you in. Okay. Terry is one of the smart young people here we have who's been helping most of our Tabata here. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for joining. So the point here, the reason why I'm going through all these things, they have Liberians in Liberia that are very smart. So if this government, this incoming government, must first, before you bring something to the 250-year-old, before you bring into Liberia from the diaspora, explore the possibility of the Liberians that are in Liberia. What is their qualification? In fact, I will say this. If Samson told one job in this incoming government, put Samson to CV against somebody in Liberia who also claimed to be roadway designer, put their CV together and see. But if you just discard the folks in Liberia and say, oh, their education is a little bit different, if you do that, you're still not helping the situation. Because many of these people, the only thing that right now, why the people that are working in Georgia government, they're not running back here because all of them got green card and many of them citizens. The only reason why is that sanction, they put that lock behind. They can't come running back now quick. If it were not so, you're going to be seen in any party you go to, in any of the Liberian community, you'll see the people then that used to be minister, deputy, and they will all be here. But they can't come running, and most of them. And most likely, most of them will be in Ghana or in Nigeria right now. Yeah, that's smart one. My show sport tonight. Why? Yeah, something to you look for your own trouble. How you report something to that don't know anything, and you bring the two people. So, folks, if you're watching, the fun coming start now because my tune now gonna be changing. You're watching, see. Say, how you doing?
How you doing, Pato? Hey, Terry, how you doing, man?
Yeah, man. How you doing, man?
And so I'm saying, before I go to Sissy and Terry, I'm saying this incoming government explore the possibility of Liberians that are in Liberia. See how much they're able to contribute first before you start using the Liberian diaspora as your go-to people, because most of the time it'll be most likely not going to work out right, because many of them that will leave from here will not want to make that place their home right away. They're going to be like a stranger. But if you go and get people on the ground, and even if you're able to mix them up, that will be something. I think that will be my tabata for the night. Let me go with you, Terry. What's on your plate? Good evening. Thanks for joining us. What's on your plate?
Well, a lot going on in the country and all of that. As you can see, I think there's a stillness in the country right now due to the transitional period. But yeah, you've been talking some good things too, and all of that. I think we can talk about that. It's very important. But I was listening to the speech of Ambassador Boyka on, not a speech, but an interview that he had with the VOA guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think from what I sense, is that his tune is changing a little bit. The tune changed a little bit.
What do you mean?
Well, like when I mean tune changing, is like he almost like going with Amara Connor in regards to managing expectations, because he said something like, we don't want to make people hopes to climb up high, and then we don't deliver what they expect. Like the guy asking,
Terry, he's a politician.
Yeah, I know he's a politician, but I don't know if many people pick it up. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if many people.
I mean,
I don't know if
the election is over. I will all your caca in the Monterey. I will bring plastic bag. We'll clean the city. You'll put all your caca inside. When you finish winning, plastic bag not coming right now. So go ahead.
He said something about the rule when he said about 100 days stuff. The journalist asked him, and he reiterated with a very smart. The Bible is wise, and that is what leaders are supposed to have, wisdom. So he said something. He said that when he talked about the rules, that there will be no, car will not stuck in the mud. He's merely referring to to roads that are very bad, you know, where cars cannot even get through at all. In my own opinion, I think that what you're trying to say, that he's speaking to areas where the roads are very bad. So in that like, it means that Ambassador Boga is going to be looking at roads that are not really connecting maybe the southeast and other places. Most of the places that I think that what he's going to focus his attention, he's not really talking about Lofa Road and people, you know, he's talking mainly about only certain roads he's going to target. That what for me, I may be
so what Lofa Road?
but
How Lofa you see as your example?
no, I just give it because Lofa Road can be very bad during the rainy season, and because especially between the main place that can be very bad is between Vonjama and Foya. That place can be very bad between Vonjama and Foya. But from Zozo used to be bad, between Zozo and Vonjama used to be bad. But the main areas on down the road can almost like a cutting is between Vonjama and Foya. That place can be very, very bad during the rainy season. But cars can still go there. So when he's talking about the way he put it today, I look at it from a different level. Because like I said, I think that he's trying to come home. He's trying to bring Liberians to a place wherein, because I think he's seeing that the expectations are very high. And the journalist asked him today, you know, that guy is very clever. He asked some very beautiful questions that hit the day right on the head. And Ambassador Boga too were able to smartly pivot in a way that he presented the narrative that, you know, Liberians should be able to watch out for, not to have high hopes and expectation too high, because this is going to take a minute. That the American people can say it's going to take a minute. You know, I think this is going to take a minute. I think that's what I was looking at.
Okay, well, thank you. We will look at that. We'll try to get a hold of that video. If you have it, please, if you can send it to us, we'll appreciate it. Because I'm trying to put some stuff together here, maybe for Crispin Day. So, Terry, sister, excuse me, sister, what's on your plate?
I actually put that video in our chat room, in our WhatsApp chat room.
Yeah, the video is there.
Yeah. I too watched the video. I think the president-elect listened well to the LPP and the Gonglo movement, because he's talking about declaration of asset, like we said. Yeah. He's going to lead it. He's talking about lifestyle audit in a way about people who think they're going to go to government to steal. Government's for service. If you don't want that, you go somewhere else. He's talking about auditing the past regime, which is what we've been asking for. He's actually talking about bringing in international auditors.
Right.
And he said, asking you to account for your stewardship of the Liberian people's resources is not witch hunting. And I like that. And if we are going witch hunting, if you're not a witch, don't be scared. I'm not going hunting witches. So if you know, I can't say I'm going crow hunting and you're not crow, then you're scared. So for me, I don't have a problem with hunting witches. If you're stealing from the Liberian people, then we're coming for you. But my one-on-one disappointment is that he spoke lengthily about a bunch of things in the arrest agenda, but very briefly about education, which is the E in the arrest. And I'm still waiting to really hear, to see that the flesh put on the bone. For now, it's been a skeleton for a long time. So we're going to be patient. We're going to listen. But I was impressed, though. I was really impressed. And Terry, though, what the president said, what the president-elect said before is exactly what he said the last time. He said in the first 100 days, we will ensure that no cars are stuck in the mud. Lofakande is a rule. You're not taking Lofakande out. What people are not understanding is that in the first 100 days, we'll be in dry season.
That's been my argument.
When people in political rhetoric when you're speaking, that was why I kept laughing. You're in dry season.
So who's gonna get stuck in dry season?
Like, y'all don't play with you old people that are not sitting around them. That old man was very strategic. And if you listen to him today, he said the same thing. You clarify, he said that there will not be cars getting stuck in the mud. If
Yep.
there is no mud, how do you get stuck in the mud? But,
Terry, I think I suggested that the last time, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
but I think what's also underlining that is this idea that the Gonglo movement are running with, and I know Joseph Boakai was a beneficiary of that, is Mr. Toh, when I was much younger, I remember one of my uncles, my oldest uncle, used to work for public works in Lofan. They used to go to there was a local public work branch in Salaye area. They will go, they'll be responsible for brushing the roads and using the grader to grade the roads in the Salaye district area, all the way from the St. Paul Bridge down to Salaye. And then there was a different branch that will pick it up from there and go to Zaza side. And I think that was everywhere. Just like when you build, we have these substations for LEC. It's how they have the substations for public work. And that is what Gonglo was asking for. And I think President-elect Boakai is asking for the same thing. Because when you have these localized branches of the Ministry of Public Work, then you don't have to wait for somebody to come away from the road, they can't face a road right in the place. Oh, they got employees there that are fixing them. And so I think it is doable. He wasn't saying it's going to give paved road. He said people will not get stuck in the mud. And back in the day when my uncles, because I remember I used to go on vacation, they would put on the rain boot to go brush the road. It used to be very difficult for cars to get stuck in the mud because public work was all along the place. And those public work employees were residents of those towns and villages along the road.
They know which area. And since I'm good you brought that up, if I'm going to be helping, that is the area that I will be interested in. In other words, if you establish what you just described here, then I don't mind giving up my time here to go and teach the group in these sectors. Okay, say, okay, this is a bad role. This is how you treat it. And once you know how to do one section of the role, that process can be applied to another area. It's the same all over, so that is the only thing, if they do that I would be interested in trying to put my hand out to say I want to help. But I think I stated that they think sometimes these people then when they're ready they just open their mouth and you can tell that they're still young, they're juvenile, You think the man who been in the government, you say for 40 something, you think he's stupid? He ain't coming with no experience. He said, no, in my 100 days, no car will be stuck. He's starting in January. 100 days, there's someone going, the dry season going on, it was 6 months. 6 months. So by that time, after 100 days, the rainy season start. God started. But it was.
Actually.
My goodness.
But another thing.
Anyway, go ahead, Terry.
Another thing I hope to see actually is a project. I hope to see a project or economic project that they're going to be working on, like something that you guys can call the blueprint of. I don't know if they have it. Like I said something last night about the poverty reduction strategy of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and also the CDC had a poor agenda that they never went by. I think that I'm hoping to see if Ambassador Boakai have a project like that that we can look at as a blueprint to checkmate if if they are going off the cliff or not. But that blueprint will set his government on the precipice of being able to fulfill something, by expectation, that will have an expectation to say, yeah, the government is going to reach this, they're going to do this. This is what they show us that they're going to accomplish. So I really have not seen that yet, and I hope to see that too.
Good thing you brought out. If I was involved, and I'm very serious, if I was involved with Ambassador Boakai and they even know me, which they don't know me anyway, one of the things I was going to suggest, pick up the pro agenda, dust it up. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The pro agenda, if you go through it, it's one of the best rating documents. If the same way with code of conduct, if you stick with those things that's in that, you will find yourself in a comfortable position. Now, Ambassador Bakar and people, when I say that's it, they don't have to take it and say make it their own. They can change here and there. But there are so many good things in our proper agenda. If I were with Ambassador Bakar and the people, I'm most likely going to go through that type of stuff. But anyhow, they don't know me, and then they most likely not even going to listen to me anyway. So that's that. But Sissy, since you're here as well, let's discuss this a little bit further. So this idea of Ambassador Bakar going back home soon, what I asked the last time, but you didn't. Well, you gave me what you want to give me, but I'm going to ask it again tonight and see if I can get a little bit, if we can go a little bit deeper than that. And that is, if you were involved, if and only if your uncle was listening to you, if you were like Sir Johnny, our friend Sir Johnny, what are some of the things perhaps, besides the educational aspect, which we're very passionate about, but besides that, or let's throw that in anyway, because they all have to be in one part. You can't take one out and the other. They all have to be looked at from a broad perspective. What are some of the advices that perhaps you will want to give, and the first thing that perhaps the old man need to do in order for them to be on a good roll, so to speak, from your perspective?
I think one of the things that they should do is to seek to codify into either executive action or into law that gives tax incentives, tax breaks to corporations that move further away from the capital. The further you are from the capital, the higher your tax break. And seek to ensure that in each of those agreements they sign, they at minimum require that these corporations, multinationals, are building community schools. And the school I used to teach is a community school. And what their model looks like is, we have the school where you have teachers and libraries and everything. But what makes it a community school is you have a clinic at the school. So you have dentists, you have pediatricians, you have everybody else there. So that place is not only educating, but also ensuring the health of the community. Quite too often, you'll find corporations or companies, and I'm talking about Lofa County, where you had the logging companies, for example, they damage all of the roads, and they build very substandard schools, and they don't care for the health of their employees or the employees' families and their children. And so you can build a school all you want, Mr. Toll, but when the children are not safe and the school is not up to standard and there is not a health care, then those kids get sick. Now they have to go miles to go look for a hospital. So those kids are out of school, which defeats the whole purpose of building education in the first place. And so for me, my number one thing I would look for would be, how are we incentivizing people to invest in a rural area so that we can close this rural-urban gap? I spoke about it the last time. If you pull any educational data in Liberia, the further away your school is from the city center, from Monrovia, the lower your quality of education becomes. And if Article 6 that guarantees fair education, quality, equitable education to all Liberians, and I'm saying Liberian A that's in Monrovia has a higher and better quality of education than citizen B that is in Lofa County, it's also a district, and that is a problem. And then what ends up happening is you have this rural-urban migration, because everybody wants the best for their children. So I, as a farmer, would rather my children go to Monrovia to go to the best schools. As it is right now between you and myself, Mr. Toll, if you want to have a bachelor's degree, you can't live in Lofa County. There is no way to get a bachelor's degree while living in Lofa County. The most you can get is an associate degree. So if I want my child to be a teacher, to be an engineer, be a lawyer or a doctor, they have to leave Lofa. And then we complain about Lofa used to be the breadbasket. What happened? Well, other children are going to Monrovia to become engineers. because they cannot become engineers by staying in Lofa County. And so that is why I would say incentivizing these companies to move into the hinterland by giving them tax breaks, but ensuring that they are vested in the community by building community schools.
So one last thing, one last question on this education before we, back in the days when I was growing up, in fact, they have high school over there in Grassfield behind Bapa. They call it Cara High. Cara High. Well, kids from there were always at the top, even when they do the LU entrance and things. What is it because was it a foreign school anyhow?
No, it's a private school. But the data I'm talking about mainly is about public schools, right? Because you can have these church schools, these parochial schools that operate further away from the city, and they be good, but they're so cost prohibitive. I remember LTI, the Lutheran Training Institute. It was right in Salaye in Lofa County, one of the best schools by many measures. But how many Lofians were able to send their kids there? There were many children of the elites from everywhere and from Monrovia going down there. Right? So I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the likes of Sosa Central High, for example, or Toloke Buffet High School, or Balatua High School. You know, those are the ones I'm talking about, not the likes of the LTIs or even the Conala Mission that was just a school for the children of the elites.
I see. So Terry, let's stick with that as well. What are some of the things, if you were involved, what would be some of the recommendations that perhaps you would give the incoming realistic recommendation that perhaps you think might be successful in the process if they decide to implement that?
Well, yeah, I think Cesar got a good point when it comes to education because that is his area, you know. But I also think that Ambassador Boyka, one of the greatest ways to be successful in his sojourn is to tackle the area of food production, the access of food, especially rice. I think we need to progress to Liberian producing their own rice. You know, when we start making our own rice, it will minimize the mentality, the rice mentality that Liberian people believe in. I told a lot of people, I said one of Liberia's greatest problem is the dependency of our food. We depend on the outside world to bring food, even like chicken eggs. Like I always tell my wife that my business that I'm going to do in Liberia will be agriculture. I'm going to do especially eggs. I just want to supply eggs to the entire country. I want to be able to supply chicken eggs to the entire country because I saw while in Liberia, I saw us going to buy chicken egg for $15 for one. In fact, $30 for one chicken egg. Yes, you know, the brown egg. When I was in Danane, I saw, in fact, that's why I got to know Ambassador Boyka family. It was in Danane. We met in Danane. We used to go on the basketball court to play and all that. So, but however, in Danane, there's a guy that used to go up the hill. These guys in Danane, all over, they got a little truck, the little pickup, and they just used to bring the egg down and supply the whole city. 1,000 CFA for one cart for 24 eggs. So there was a huge supply of eggs regularly. All right, that whole all year round. The price remained the same. So I got that idea from Danane, and that is in me. That is my dream. All right. I think that the problem with Liberians eat eggs a lot. We eat egg in the morning when you go to the fuller shop. You eat egg. Every Liberian love egg in the evening, in the night. That all we eat, egg and bread. So these are simple things, but they are very important. What his name, Mr. Ure, was having it. I don't know if he's still doing it. He used to bring the white eggs, but I don't know if he's still doing it. Just some way, somehow, the business just went down. But I think that if we start to supply, if we have Liberians supplying eggs, just egg alone, the economy will shift. If you have Liberian producing rice from different countries, you can select like what his name? I listened to this guy they call one of the aspirants, Moneybar. Moneybar said that when he become president, he would like that every county in Liberia produce their own food. I saw a lot of counties are very lazy. That is the reason why Liberians are depending on OSA world to feed them. Because a lot of counties are lazy. You go to Cape Mount County, they are the laziest people in Liberia. They don't do farming. They don't do anything. You go to Bone
But
County.
how can they like Kesalio?
You go there, say you can't even see Kesali there. So yeah, you pass through the whole place. So that how it looking, you go to Bone County, the people there doing rubber. So as a result, they're not able to do farming because they're doing rubber. You understand? So I think that if we focus, if Ambassador Boka as an agriculturalist, prioritize agriculture, just from agriculture alone, Liberia can become an industrialized nation. Liberia can open up, Liberia can be able to generate their own money just from agriculture alone. And
So-
there are people in the interior that are willing to do that, but they just need support. They need push. The county that I saw that people really work. Counties, maybe Nima County and Lofa County. Let's say Lofa,
That's it.
because I stay in Lofa.
That's it.
The Lofians, one of my fathers, I would say a guy who mentored me from the spiritual dimension. In Morovia, his parents used to make farm every year in the swamp. And the farm they used to feed them for the entire year. They never used to eat this or pusawa rest and thing. The farm they used to make right in Loking Town, in the swamp, used to feed them for the entire year. That's how he grew his children. So, and you go to Lofa, you will see, I saw a girl in Lofa that her survivor, she paid her own school fee from Bob Grumpy. She make farm, planting grumpy. Grumpy that we call, I know, certain grumpy. She will plant the grumpy, and when she harvests, she go to on market day and sell this grumpy, and that was how she was paying her school fee. The Lofians, when you see one man farm, you can't even believe it that this man can have, that was the Lofians can have 3 wives. One man can have 3 wives because the kind of work they do. So what I think is that
Terry married. I know I got 17. I don't want to make fun.
Exactly. So we need to go back to the soil. Somebody said this way back, and we didn't pay attention to it. I think that is Liberia problem. Liberia, I think Ambassador Boka need to take this seriously. And I said that to President Weah, that if President Weah had prioritized food, especially rice, wherein Liberia will start producing her own rice, the trajectory of his leadership will have automatically changed. Politically, it would have changed a lot of things for him.
Let me bring Sissy into this conversation. Sissy, let's suppose his recommendation take root in the Baka community. Let's put it that way. And true, Lofa County used to be pretty much the breadbasket of the Republic of Liberia for years. That is quite clear. We all know that. But let me ask you this. There are people, for example, in Grand Yida County, they may farm here, from here, they go to the other one. In fact, that's how those of us that were born on the farm, that's how they count your years. Oh, you were born at one, then we moved to the one. But before you know, they finish missing 2 or 3 places, you're still young. You can be 10 years old in real life, you're still 50. But let's look at it this way. What are some of the incentives that if you were given the opportunity to say, okay, this is the idea, what Terry just suggested, let's go with the food business. How do you get the people in Town and other places that are not quite keen on farming, but knowing fully well that farming is something that will help Liberia move? What kind of incentive that you will provide for them to continue to do that?
First thing,
will also benefit the country. Let's put it that way.
First thing, Terry, just so you know, there are people in Cape Mount that you say they're lazy, but they got 5 wives too. So it's not just because people can do farm. But look,
But what are doing to maintain our power? What a main source of income?
well, yeah, then that's the question I'm about to address, because right now in Lufa, in my hometown, you have people now going to Monrovia to buy bags of rice because they pivoted to mining. Lofians were not working just because we like to work. And I grew up in families where we did brick bark, inhuman kind of labor. People work from sun down to sun up, from dusk to down, and it's crazy, it's backbreaking. And then they harvest, and the harvest can make it to town, it get rotten. There are farmers I know that were so strong that couldn't even raise money to send their kids to school. So Lofians were not doing that because we love hard work. We're not doing that because it was a survival. And so if we're going to build agriculture, it can't be based on just survival.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You know, hold on one second. I know that's not what you're saying. The reason in other counties where people don't focus on farming is because there are cheaper ways to make more living. In Bombing County, where I grew up, for example, there was the iron ore mining. So why am I going to go break my back doing rest farm where I can take pay and go right to Douala and buy back or I can't sit down? It is just human tendency. And so I think if we're going to go back to agriculture, we have to go back in the playbook of Tauber and try to make sure that we are adding value, we're adding taxes on imported agricultural product to make sure that our locally grown agricultural products get a fair share in the marketplace. So I agree with you, Terry. But if you make a rest farm and you brought country rest to the market and they put someone in the market and you want to sell the country rest more expensive than the Pusawa, who buy your country rest? But if you make the Pusawa more expensive than the country rest so that these farmers can get some money out of it, some profit, where it's not just substantial farming, because that's what we did in Lufaka too, by the way. We count how many farms that there has been before you were born. There were very few farmers that were actually getting out enough money to actualize for the services. And so, Terry, let me give you one inside joke. You know what Papa they used to do? They will marry 5 young girls in the town. They know they can't see the young girl, but they know they first keep picking them go see who they get in. And they ask the young girl to come confess every time. And they come they say, I slept with Terry. And the Lord
so you go on the farm. You go brush.
so you find bunch of men brushing and clarifying because of one day enjoyment. But beyond that, the more young girls you get in your village, the more kind of money I can visit. And so, but on a serious note, Terry got a point that food security is national security. If you can't feed yourself, you're not nationally secure. So we have to find a way to incentivize mechanized farming, like what Java is doing, for example.
Mechanized farming, yeah.
Mechanized farming, where the idea of the agricultural bank, Pato, you remember the agricultural bank when it was created? The idea behind that was to help with the LMC, the BCADP, the smallholder rice company, the CARI, all of those places. That was meant for that, to be able to support farmers. But all of those things are going away, and we are hoping with the likes of Joseph Yimabwaka coming back to power, coming from that LPMC side, understanding how that thing works, to ensure that those things are recreated and revised so that our Liberian farmers can see an initiative to go back into farming again, but not this thing that you're breaking your back all day and you're dying.
Extensive farming.
To do that.
I remember when in Monrovia those days, they used to have on a corner of a street, they used to have a glass booth looking like where people used to put money, and the booth sleeps in the street with money in it. And nobody gonna touch it because it doesn't belong to you. You can't do it this.
Let's try an experiment. Go put our way in Monrovia and just leave it for 2 minutes
You know, that's why sometimes I can be wondering what happened to us. Those days, right on the corner of Benson and Ken Johnson Road, right there, they used to have that booth, glass booth, and people used to put $1 in there, quarter, you know, money. They put money in there, and at certain time, the people, those who supposed to come and collect, they come and clean it and lock it back up, and they stay there. You can't break it. I really don't understand. Now you can't do that. You can't do that. But anyway, that's different issues. So okay, so let's go. Let's continue with this Ambassador Bakar government. Let's try to see if we can run this government tonight. So Ambassador Bakar is successful. Inaugurations finished. Picking cabinet minister. What are some of the processes that you think Ambassador Bakar need to follow from a leadership perspective?
Well, I'm hoping that they are intentional about vetting people before they put their names out. They can't have that thing what happened with President Weah, where you put a former pastor out to lead the RIA. And then everybody, then you take a man from there. I'm talking about Conley, our man from Pennsylvania. Yeah. Or other places where the Nwabudike kind of fiasco and thing. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think they have the luxury to do that. They don't. And so I will be hoping that they have a very strong vetting team. Now, before they even put out people's names, I'm hoping that they're doing it right now. That they're reaching to not just one person for a position. You get maybe 3, 4 strong people for the same position. And you reach out to them and say, we are thinking about you. Would you want this job? Yes. Well, can you provide us your CV and stuff? And they do background checks on those 3. And they whittle them down, and the president-elect can have an interview with those 3, and they can whittle down to 1. But just picking one person and say, that's what we want, and don't look anywhere else, I think that would be a tunnel vision. And if that one person comes out short, then it takes a long time for you to go back in the wheelhouse. But if you have 3 people and you narrow it down to 1, and God forbid something came up with that one person, you got your other 2, you can still run back to in an emergency and pull up. So for me, I'll be looking at the things that are in arrest. Who are you putting there? So agriculture. I will be very critical about who Joseph Yumabaga puts in agriculture, because agriculture is the A in arrest, and that is his wheelhouse. If he fumbles on that will be a problem. Mm. I'm looking at who he puts to education. Well, because I'm biased towards that, but also because that's the E in his arrest. Right? Mm. I'm looking at who he puts at justice, because now he's talking about auditing, and auditing might lead to persecution. And the rule of law is very important for everything we're saying. If you have a lawless society, I don't care what you do, everything else, it falls apart. So I will be looking at the people that are going to put in agriculture, in education, in the justice sector, and I'm talking Ministry of Justice, police commander, or inspector general. I'm talking LACC. You know, those integrity institutions is what I'm looking for, because that would be the place to show the Liberian people that he really means business. Because if you have a weakened justice ministry and a weakened LACC, there are all this thing about declaring an asset and we're prosecuting people who steal from the people, folks will start not believing you. But if you put the strongest people with the best credential in those places, I think you get a goodwill from the Liberian people. And every government is going to fumble. There are going to be some appointments that people will just hold their nose at, but he got to make sure those appointments don't come within the core. Because his core is rescuing Liberia. His core is arresting. And nobody close to arrest or rescuing can be something where we hold our nose and pass. So they have to be very strategic about that.
So Terry, strategic about that. Good point. But Terry, let's look at it. Where in this bowl of strategic can Ambassador Bakar go pick? Can he go and pick from George Weah outgoing government? Can he go and pick from Unity Party, former Unity Party, like Kafon and the rest of the folks? Can he go and pick from there? And if he does that, where do Prince Johnson stand in terms of bringing anybody in to fill these spots? How does he juggle with those things?
Well, Ambassador Burger is a wise man, so obviously he cannot flow with Prince Johnson in full by bringing just people, anybody to fill in gaps that he knows will not be able to effect his change that he told the Liberian people he's going to effect. So obviously you need people that you can trust. You need people, not only educated people, you also need people that you can trust, and you need people that you know, especially for the cabinet positions that he's going to be selecting. So if you go into CDC, you got to have people that you can trust, because there are people that may come from CDC that are diehard seditionists that knows the job, but they're going to come to make sure that you don't succeed. You got to also be careful with that, because your cabinet, that is why most presidents always select the cabinet from people that they trust, people that they know. And in as much as I don't like that, I think we need to vet people. I think we need qualified people that need to apply for the job, and they should be given the job on the basis of the qualifications. But unfortunately for Liberia, we have not progressed to that level. So we are stuck with the same old recycling people and all of that. So I think Ambassador Burger will go back into the recycling can to look for some of the old Unity Party people, which I think that if he brings back, especially some of the ones that we know, his government may actually have a problem. All right. So he want to go, like you see, to be honest with you, Taiwan Gonglo got very great people. Like my senior brother say I admire him a lot. And there are other people. So you got Taiwan Gonglo. You can look in Mandela Koposa. You can see some of the people she got. You can also come across the R. You in an alliance. You can go to the Apeton. You can go to Lucinic, Lucinic Camara. You need to begin to look, because you don't only want people that are loyal to you. You want people that are loyal to the cause for which you have come into this alliance to foster the betterment of your country. So I think if you take people from different political parties that are part of the alliance, they will represent their party, and they will not want for you to fail, because they know that if they fail, it means that the connection to the party also fail. So you got to look at all of that, and you don't have to be selfish. You don't have to say, oh, this is a Unity Party thing. All right, like he said from his own statement, this will be a government of inclusion. So we expect all of that. So I think he needs to open himself up, and he needs to go across the aisle.
Thank you. That's a good point there, but I'm going to be a little bit ridiculous here with Sissy now. Sissy, yeah, Terry talked about being inclusive and what have you, inclusion for President Wakai. But let me ask you this, and I'll be ridiculous as I state it. We all know the young people from Lofa County, the women and men, are very smart, highly qualified, educated, and what have you. So Ambassador Baker set up a team that's supposed to vet these people. And most of the people that are qualified and are meeting these description of qualification, whatever that is set by the team, and most of the people that are passing through are people from Lofa County. You think our people are sophisticated enough to understand that, yes, indeed, the system was fair, and that this happening because these people, even though they're from Lofa, but they are qualified to do this? Can we accept, can the Liberian people accept that as being a fair system?
The Liberian people should not accept that, because I think if you're getting a system where you're getting more qualified people from a county that has less population than Nimba County, then you're not casting your net wide enough. By the way, thank you for the homage to Lofa County as being not just the breadwinner, but being the foundation for excellent education. My sister just got a PhD today, so I'm celebrating my little sister, Doctor of Nursing Practice.
Oh, congratulations.
That's good.
Yeah, these small children, they keep making us to do plenty of things. But
Congratulations in advance.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say
is she Kissy or which part of Lofa?
My sister, she Loma, we're from Zaza district.
Oh, Loma? Because I know the Kissy people, they're both been there, they can put it on their head. They can put it on their face.
Yeah. So, but here's the point I was trying to make. I would not be disappointed if there are more people from Nimba County in the government. Nimba County has the highest population. If we're doing per capita, so if we're doing proportional representation, I don't see a problem with that. Just like I don't see a problem having more women in government than men. That's how our population is laid out. So I think Ambassador Joseph Nyema and his team ought to spread a wider net to ensure that their government represents the statistical proportionality of the citizenry.
So, say, let me push you.
The man is a mathematician.
If you're saying that, which is quite correct.
You look at things from that dimension.
That's fine. That's fine. But what is Samson told from Bapa? He claimed to be an engineer, but he know nothing. But he calls him to Prince Johnson. And Prince Johnson put in Samson, Samson told Gui, this, that. And you find out during the interview that I'm not qualified. But hey, my goodness, Lofa County got more, Nimba County got population. The vote rich county. Say, should we go about that and just flood Ambassador Baka administration and say, because Nimba County
the point I'm saying is that if you're only casting a net and catching Buka, then you need to throw the net on the other side. Remember the story about Jesus when his disciples have been fishing all night and they weren't getting anything because they were casting the net one side. And I get my brother here who's a preacher, but you'll correct me on that. And you told them to cast the net on the other side. So if you're casting it on one side, catching Buka, then maybe you got to check the bait you're using. So that tells me that they're not using the right bait. Look, Samson told from Totan, Lato, he's an engineer, we find an engineer. We know Tele from Totan that will also be an engineer. So we go for Tele. We got to tell Samson to. If you are in Nimba County and you go for Sale Logon and Sale Logon is now qualified, then yeah, it's there too. But to say that we're casting the net and the only people will get that the Buka then we're catching, then we stay in Fiaman Swan. And like I told my brother a long time ago, that now soon to be former lawmaker at Carros Grade, Buka the predator only in Weze. So we don't want to be fishing in Weze in Fiaman.
Because Buka cannot go upriver and try to bluff away.
So, but Mr. Sese, I want to ask you a question because
go ahead. I said that I'll open it. I think we're going to go over tonight because the conversation is sweet.
My question.
Ask your question, then I'll open the line.
Do you really think that because what? So, how do you compare the Monserrado County group of people if you only looking at the people from Nimba to be in high population? Do you think
before Sese come in, let me push back quickly? Monserrado County that Liberia.
Yeah, we're not coming. Sese is saying
Monserrado County, you can't come.
Sese,
When
yeah,
you say
Sese
Nimba,
is
you be
saying,
specific. Monserrado is not specific.
Sese is saying that at least most of the, if you will not be surprised that most of the people from Nimba dominate the government because they are higher in population. So that is where I'm coming from. If you're looking at, because Nimba population is around maybe 300,000 plus, okay, that is from Nimba County. But Monserrado County has more than 1 million plus. So these 1 million plus people are from different tribes. How do you portion them? You know, how do you connect it? How do you, or I don't know how to disproportion. If I would be right on that.
That's the reason I didn't name Monserrado County. Because to name an Nimbayan, so for example, if Yeke Koloba was not a representative and you pick Yeke Koloba to be police director, is Yeke Koloba from Monserrado County? No. Because he represents Monserrado. No, he's from Lofa.
He's from Lofa, yeah.
So you could pick people in Monrovia who are still Nimbayans, who are Lofians, who are Grangidians. I'm not saying go back to Nimba County and pick people who are living there right now. We're talking about people, but that's why I didn't name Monserrado at all, because Monserrado is like a place where we all go together. But for me, I'm not saying that it has to happen, right? What I'm saying, Terry, is that I would not be surprised if that happened, and that by no means should not lend any credibility that Prince Johnson is running the government. If people if, for example, you have, and no disrespect to Ruwa G people, but if Ruwa G with a very small population had the highest number of people in government, they would say, how they playing get plenty people, they get plenty people in government, and that's a question. But if you have an overpopulous county having more representation in government, it's just how the number works. I am not saying that should happen. I'm just saying I would not be surprised that happened just based on data from my point, just statistics.
I'm glad I have two of you here.
So do you think
the other group, the other, who then, I'm not going to say, I had a dream last night, but I'm glad to tell you two of my dream last night. In this dream, I went to meet a senator, but the senator was from Liberia, but he was a senator here in the United States. And I went to complain about the corrupt behavior in George Weah administration. I'm serious. I don't know why. And I said, what can you do to help us? And the senators just look at me and said, oh, don't worry. We're working on it. And he just leave me straight out on the other side, and I left. But as I was leaving, I'm thinking to myself, what kind of senator, I know that Ruwa G senator here, what kind of business is? They were speaking dribble.
Your man calling you to say the dreamer for Lufa country.
Look at. But anyway, folks, the number is there. Give us a call, 916-533-2048. We're going to go over here a little bit here. So Terry, let me come to you. While we're waiting for people to call, let me come to you. I know this is very interesting conversation here tonight. So Ambassador Baka gets back to Liberia from this wonderful trip. Should he continue to listen to us pundits on these different platforms? And should his people listen to us? And based on the conversation that we're having, whether juicy one, a good one, bad one, what have you, should they pay attention to the kind of conversation that is happening on the Liberian social media platform? And should they consider that not necessarily being their way of formulating policy or what have you, but should we, these little platforms and stuff, that should we be part of the conversation in their circle?
Well, if Ambassador Boka is to succeed, he has to, and I think he's good at listening, because if he good at incorporating his critics, like you see what Jeremiah Kun said about him, what Eugene Fagon said about him. As a matter of fact, he used Eugene Fagon's slogan, which says the rescue train. He used Henry Costa's slogan, which says the rescue. So they have to be successful. You have to cross along the aisle, and I think that is the reason why President Weah was not successful to the final ending of his regime, because if he is to maintain the power that he has been given by the Liberian people, he have to listen to those that are in the media, whether if some of their projections are ridiculous or not. The only thing he shouldn't give credence to is stories of myth and false accusations, or something that people give out there that they can't really prove. But he have to listen to criticism, and you have to also listen to the brightest and the brighter ideas that are going to help to change the trajectory of the country, because you have Liberians in the diaspora in various locations that are very wise. You know, like we always say, when you're sitting in the crowd, when you're on the field, and you're sitting, how you call it, when you're sitting stadium wing or VIP or whatsoever, you can see the mistakes of those who are playing on the field. So we who sit on the media, we see all the mistakes. So when we alarming it, who play on the field don't see those errors. So they think that we just want to be critical of them. We want to criticize them and all of that. But I think about it, the Burger have to, if he will succeed. But my greatest regret will be for him not to cross along the aisle and look for credible Liberians that know the job to bring them in. All right. Just in the few short time I've been in the diaspora and interacting with all you guys and other people, I have seen Liberians in the diaspora. I'm not talking about the ones that just want to go there to exploit and eat the money. I'm seeing a lot of Liberians here that can change Liberia. There's a reason. I told somebody, I said, there's a reason God brought us to this country. God brought us to this country not because to bluff and dress and look good. God brought us here to equip us so that we can go back and develop our country. That's the main reason why I think Liberians are here. And few Liberians are waking up to that vision. They're seeing the light. And when Ambassador Burger came, when you highlighted it on your show the other day, but you didn't go too deep. But he said something when he went to that program in Rhode Island about the diaspora Liberian. What I was thinking is, was he just saying this to appease these people, or was he saying it because he knows that this is the truth? That the diaspora Liberians contribute more to the economy. They do a lot to the economy. But is it really the only thing that God really put us here for? I don't think so. We in the diaspora, we are here because God is equipping Liberians so that Liberians can effect change in Liberia. That is the reason why when you were talking about, oh, you need Liberians there to do the work, it's fine, it's true. But we need diaspora Liberians that are well educated from here, men of integrity and men with patriotism, with the passion that will shepherd or lead the other guys on the ground to show them the way. Because what you have seen here, you can't compare it to the man who in Bowentown or in Toaston. What he see, he measure his level, his glance is limited. He don't see beyond that. So what you're looking at is what I can get today. And what he can get today, what you looking at, what you can get today is not what he looking at. You know what life looks like. You know what it means to ride airplane. You know how it feels. He don't see it that way. That is why when you go to the ministry, he can take any kind of money, the bribe and all of that, he get away with it. But for you who have sat here and seen life, that's why I pity people like Liberians that go back home, that the like of Samuel 12, all these guys who know where they came from. They go into the economy and exploit the economy. That was very painful to me. That is very painful. Because I think with your experience you have from here, you're supposed to go there to effect change. And I think Liberians can do that from here. You know, so I think that he has to listen to us if the government is definitely going to succeed.
Okay, let me go to Sissy. Sissy, then the question to you now, and you being a northern politician, you know what to do. I don't have to even tell you. You know what to do. The question that I have for you is, how do we or color? Just hold on. Let's Sissy land, and I'll come to you, sir. So, Sissy, the question is, sedition. They are Liberian, of course. How do we expect Ambassador Baka to reach out to them? And if so, even if he doesn't reach out to them, how does he make them to know that they also are Liberian and that he is the president for them as well?
Well, you addressed that issue, I think, a few shows ago when he spoke about focusing on the Southeast. Remember that show we had? When he talked about Grand G there and focusing on the road. He didn't qualify county name. He talked about focusing on the Southeast. I think it shouldn't just be in speeches. It should be in action.
Right.
He needs to reconcile the nation. And the way to do that is not to make a few people feel ashamed for expressing their political will in voting for somebody else. It's to say, well, I didn't earn your respect, but I need you because I trust your abilities. Let me earn respect. And the way to do that is, and I might not be popular, but to strip away these things that allow us to other one another so that we can treat each other badly and take their humanity from them. And in our liberation setting is this political thing. There are very smart people who supported the CDC, very talented people. I know some of them that will serve the nation impeccably. There are very brilliant brothers of mine I know from Grand Judah that supported George Weah that could not stand Joseph Boakai, that I know if you give them jobs in Liberia, that they will serve, they will bleed and die in office, serving the nation. I think our uncle has to do what we know he's capable of doing, and that is living this idea of we are all Liberians, not just speaking about it, but being intentional about it. And
let me put a Gary into this. I mean, let me put a saying into the Gary. Good point, Sissy. But let me ask you this: their son is brought in Southeast. Ambrose, just please bear with us. I'll be coming to you, please. So, their son, who was just defeated, has been crying lately, not literally crying, but being on the pulpit. Why are you giving the job back to the people who harm you? Has been his question. And that question is still remains to be answered. But here now, legally, and must is the auditing process. Why, if these people that are loved by the Southeastern people, to say these are our sons, these are our political leaders, and that now not only are they being sanctioned, but that they also possibility exists that they will face auditing. And these people go back to their people and turn this auditing situation as being making the people to believe that these are witch hunting process. What kinds of message that you think Ambassador Bakat need to put forward to dispel that kinds of information, disinformation coming from the like of President Weah and other folk? How does he deal with that?
First of all, I think Reverend Weah has already been speaking about people who, in his own, but I'm talking in church, so I got to call him Reverend.
Yeah, I agree.
The Reverend has been speaking about even people who backstab him in his own government. I think the one mistake the United Party Alliance will make is to assume that the people in the Southeast are a monolith. They just think one way. Nobody likes a thief in Liberia. Nobody. I know some grandparents that will beat their grandchildren for stealing chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes a thief. That is just the Liberian thing. Nobody likes a thief. And I like what the ambassador said in his response to the VOA interview. Because the question was asked about that. He said, we're going to bring in international auditors.
Right.
The communication has to be key. They have to communicate and over-communicate and let people know that this process is fair. Look, there are other people in the Southeast who are not happy with other people in the Southeast that were stealing and living flamboyant life at their expense. If you go deep into some of those votes, you will see it. People now feel like they can give it 3-4 months from now. There will be people in the Southeast that will come out and speak against some of the things their own Southeasterners did. There is nobody that said, there are people in the far country that are never going to vote for Joseph Boakai. So there's no group that just holistically, wholly follow one person. But I think they have to be careful about making sure that those people don't suck up all the oxygen in the room and try to turn it around and say, this is a witch hunt. The last thing I want to say is I will hope that in his inaugural address, at his inauguration, that Joseph Boakai, president-elect, can do something a little differently. Personally invite some people that have done some deeds that we want to elevate. I'm thinking about the video that is being parading about this Rachel Freeman, that young girl who stood up when people were trying to brutalize that young guy that was
Right.
accused of stealing.
Yeah.
And she used her camera because if she hadn't been there today, that
guy was going to die. Yeah.
Those are behaviors as a president want to elevate.
Right.
That's your personal guest. Forget about all the other people that ain't part of the not coming. That's your personal guest. There are many people with many stories like that in the villages. There are some young people in the village who take it upon themselves to break wood every day for this one old lady who don't have any child and doesn't have a husband, but they bring wood for her every day to make sure she get heat in her house. Invite those people, Mr. President-elect, and tell their stories. That is how you start to heal a nation. That is how you start to lay what the morality of a nation ought to be. I'll be watching for that, and I hope the president-elect and his group can do that. Look, in every town and hamlet, there are stories of heroes and heroines and people who are living a modest life, but very upright. Bring them, Mr. President-elect, and pepper their stories in your speech. And when you're talking about education, I will hope you speak about the significance of the monkey bridge in Liberia.
Thank you. Okay, Ambrose, are you there? Ambrose.
So, hello?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Tool, Sissy, and Terry?
Thank you, Ambrose.
Yeah. You know, one thing, I'm not gonna. It's not like I'm gonna push back. Well, what Terry said, well, that's why people going to serve in the government. I think that would be a bad idea. That's why I don't support Joseph Boakai. Well, if I could recommend, or people then say could close, maybe Sissy.
But Ambro,
Yeah.
when we
Go
were
ahead.
struggling
Go ahead.
to win the election, when we were struggling, and you were there telling me, I don't support, you don't know, now that that recommendation will continue now? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Go ahead.
no, you get me
I
wrong.
know, you know, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I'm not recommending people. Yeah, I'm not recommending anybody to Joseph Boakai.
Okay, no, go ahead, make your point.
But the idea that we should get people from America to work in Liberia when they are so hot is that in America, in Liberia, that's a bad idea. Like, I don't know something, but I know something have a decent job in America. That will go to the job with dignity and he will do the job. But now people that are working in daycare or when they don't have a decent job in America, then you're gonna go take them and go put them over millions of dollars or over
but let me ask you this, Ambrose, on a very serious note, let me ask you this. Why if the person who's working in the daycare but does have an experience in financing, but yet just have not been able to find job in America? What are you saying about that?
Okay, and thank God you brought that up. I know somebody that they said he was working in the past any government who said he get PhD, but he working in a nursing home. If you can't defend your PhD, you can go teach. You see, Cesar was teaching, or Cesar is a teacher before he became district mathematics director or whatever his position is. But if you come to America, you're not able to blend yourself, but you go do low-class job. We hope you one day you will know somebody that will take power in Liberia to go oversee that. That was some of the mistakes we make. Like the former public works minister, she graduated from U of H, and she never had no experience in engineer. And the way I make her engineer in Liberia, see how many roads she built in Liberia. But because she lived in America,
for once there's CDC, you make a sense today. That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't want to call him in, but he said he got a PhD and he worked in the government. But after he came back to America, he worked in a nursing home in Louisville here. There are so many of them. But how you can defend like you, Mr. Toll? You see, you never struggle or you never make the sacrifice to say, okay, yeah, I'm an engineer or I'm a designer. Let me make sure that's the passion I have. Let me improve myself on it. Because you can come and take a classes here. If you get a PhD, you can go teach. You can go to high school. You can go to elementary school and teach them. But you never make any of this effort. You know, I'll be honest with you. They get some nice people here that get some good job. You can get in the job, but not people that work in nursing home or work low-class job, but because they're friendly with Mr. Toe and Mr. Toe knows connection, so they will go get a job in Liberia. Because we'll not go nowhere. We'll just be blaming the same old people, and we say we want to improve our country or we want to develop our country. I agree. We all living in a lot of Liberian problems in any government. It was most of the people in our work that came from America. Most of the people that came from America, that's how that government never succeed. Because all of them, their heart is in America. Their heart
That's why they succeeded.
Okay.
Joey, where you came from? What Joey came from?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Joey, where you came from?
Terry, you know, you can generalize things and sometimes it can be bad. You look at the whole country, you see they are lazy. Kidman. You know the guy from Makino Farm and the guy Rubber Farm in Kidman? Are you aware of that?
Listen, my mom people are bad people. My mom people are bad people. That's why you see the Vani in my name. That's why I represent. I'm a bad man for my mom's side. So you can't tell me nothing about Kidman.
So what about Clay? They don't have a rubber plantation?
Those are beautiful places. They get rubber plantation and all of that. But what I'm saying, when you talk about people who make farm, who do farming, I'm not just saying that, oh, they are lazy, that they don't work. I'm talking specifically when it comes to farming. All right? The people from Cayman, they don't do farming on their own. Those rubber plantations are owned by people. They are not. Most of the rubber plantations are owned by. Most of those rubber plantations are owned by.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, anyway, well,
let me work. Okay. Thank you, Ambrose. Thank you. Let me welcome a few people who've been watching here. Mr. Paul, Mr. K, Madam Sapi. Thank you guys for turning in. We appreciate it. And the rest, Madam Freeman, Annie Freeman, thank you very much. Nakomo, you've been watching, of course. To Tao, thank you. Tamba, thank you as well. Taliesin, you've been watching. We said thank you. Madam Sapi, we're hoping one day we will have the opportunity to have a conversation with you here on Liberian Public Radio, because we would like to listen to your experiences, because you were heavily involved in the campaign, and I would like to have a conversation with you here to tell us some of your experiences and things like that during the campaign area that you visited. So we'd like to have a conversation with you, hopefully very shortly, very soon. Let's put it that way. Okay, Sese, I think we'll just go ahead and wrap it up. Give us your closing, and then Terry can take us on tonight.
Well, this has been a good show, as always. It's LPR. But I say again, like
no. This has always been a good show. Always LPR, especially when Libra is running their show. The other man, when you run it, you can't get nothing. He threatens people all day.
I want to say your last name, Moluba, now you're from the fucking But it's a good conversation, and I think for me, I like the interview that President-elect Bwaka had. I think it's time for the rubber to meet the road. I think, and I hope that the team is very, very intentional about the makeup of the cabinet, gender-wise and also sectional-wise. But I also hope that they're putting their best feet forward. The fresh set of people to join this government ought to be people that understand, not people that are coming to learn. They have to be the Antoinette Sayed kind of people who are coming to lay structures and policies so that other people can come along and build on it.
Speaking about that, can he try to bring her back in? You think that might be possible?
I think that might be possible. I think with what we're seeing coming from the speeches of our man, the student companion graph maker, Samuel Twe, I think there is a lot of chaos that's been created at the ministry, and it requires some seasoned eyes and hands to try to sort out the mess. But I will hope that they are bringing in people who understand. This is not a time to come and learn on the job. If you need people to learn on the job, you got to put them in deputy positions and assistant positions so that they learn and be groomed for the job. But I'm also hoping that, like they did with the transition team, that they don't forget our folks living with disability. Far too long, disability in Liberia has been akin to inability, and people with disability have been reduced to beggars.
But I don't mean to interrupt, but I think this president-elect is very keen on disability.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
He's the vice president. Like I said it last time, I have my niece in this town now, and because of him, my niece is here. Yeah. He's always in the process of putting young people, especially amputees, and bring them to the United States for them to be fitted with prostheses and things like that, and go back to life. He does it every year. So I think he's been involved into the disability folks in Liberia.
That's true, though. But we know George Weah is a philanthropist until he surrounded himself with a bunch of other people who took away who George Weah was. So we understand that.
I can't wait.
We just want to be mindful. We know who the president-elect is, but sometimes the people you surround yourself with. So I'm hoping that they're mindful of that they're intentional. That's why I said this is when the rubber meets the road. This is when aspiration meets what you're doing. This is no longer time for political rhetorics when they take over. And I'm actually hoping to see a very close to, if not more, ratio of women in leadership role, in decision-making role in the government than before. So we'll be watching. To the extent that we're able to lend policy support on this platform, we will do that. To the extent we are able to hold them accountable, we'll hold them accountable. But for now, I think I like the interview we had on VOA, and I think they should continue doing things that way, and they should be very intentional about reaching out to the rest of the nation. Election is over. And that is why I like what they had in Rhode Island, where they didn't allow for green and all the other berets, because they're no longer green Liberians and blue Liberians. There is just the red, white, and blue, and the 2-3-1. We all bleed that. So you just got to make sure they recognize that.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate it. Terry, take us home, please.
Yeah. So thank you again for the show, and Tusi for being here with us tonight too.
Terry, how's me being in charge? How comparing to
Labor tonight, you're performing very well.
Tonight?
No, always.
Okay.
What I like about you, let me be honest with you, even though I like Mr. So, he's very organized too as well. Oh. But what I also like about you, you come with your whole information set. When you're ready, that your 1 hour or that 45 minutes, you give real information. And then you open the conversation, which is a good thing. That is your style, which is, I admire that. I don't normally come on the show on Mondays and Tuesdays because my daughter go for basketball practice and all of that. So I caught up in between. But however, tonight, or what that guy was saying, I'm sorry if I offended somebody tonight. May people forgive me because I used the word lazy. I didn't really mean to be very harsh. But what I was trying to say,
I don't mean to interrupt. People who have followed me on this show, I don't think they're going to be upset, because they know that in terms of ranking, as far as I'm concerned, it's Grand Cape Mount County in terms of educational level. Then Lofa, Nima, before Born, then we can go down the line. So they know where they stand. The people from, as far as I'm concerned, they know where they stand with me.
They never now beautify it and put it back in the sequence. But anyway,
I've always stated that.
I think that Ambassador Boyka need to prioritize two major things. Also, to add to education. I think education should be number one. For me, that is what I think. And I think roads should be number two, and I think agriculture number three. In as much as he got it in agriculture, arrest, but I think that is what he should prioritize. Education number one. Number two, like he said something very clever today about the youth, that they need to be marketable, and the only way they can be marketable is that they got to be educated. So, and I think that is what it is. But but I also think that in order for Liberia to really get on track, we need to be able to feed ourselves. And I want to say mechanized farming would be very great, supporting our people. Our people can work, but they don't have, they don't want to do that kind of heavy work. We can bring in machines. And secondly, technology. The other day, I sat down here and I was able to get my passport from here. And right after that, somebody else tried to pass through me to try to get a passport. They couldn't get it. The whole system shut down. You understand? When you go to the ministries in Liberia to just do common things, it will take you 3-4 days. All right? You got to run all over the town, traffic and all of that. I think Ambassador Boyka need to prioritize technology, something we really did not talk about, that just pop up, that is very essential for his government to work effectively. Most of the information that these governments having is not in the cloud. They got it on paper. No wonder why the other day they were burning the finance ministry, because because they got it in document. So something happened, But it's very easy when we have technology running the country.
No wonder why people like Walter Carter and Aaron Butler really don't want to see the ground you work.
Yeah, I can sit down in my house right now and just go on the internet if I want to go to the hospital and just book an appointment. And definitely, I can go to the hospital or ambulance can come. That is not happening in Liberia. We need technology. Our students, the kids, are learning to do computer now. We need all those things. And Ambassador Boyka, in order for him to become very successful in these 6 years, he needs to prioritize and upgrade the technological, or diagram of the country. Thank you very much.
Okay, Sissy. So I hope that, thanks for showing up, because yesterday you were not feeling well, you said, and for you to show tonight. Thank you very much. And I apologize not calling to check on you, make sure things are okay as well. Terry, thank you very much. Let's meet tomorrow on Mr. Social, where the liberal will talk tabata again tomorrow, because there's no hold back on that one. So the first thing he will write tomorrow is say, I'm in charge. I'm in charge. So, but thank you guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But if you guys have the opportunity, please go on LiberiaPublicRadio.com and enjoy the music. And for if you guys have music, special taste that you want us to put on there, just send it to us and we'll put it up there, because it's a 24-hour gig anyway. Auto DJ, by the way.
All right.
So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Okay. Again, folks, Samson told LeBron Public way out of time here, but we want to thank all of you again tonight. As I stated, Madam Sapi, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. And we're hoping that one of these days we will have a conversation with you on your experience about this current election, so that we can have our brothers and sisters, at least people can learn from whatever experience that you have, that perhaps can be passed on to other brothers and sisters as well. Those of you that call, yeah, but James, send it to me. Send it. You can either not come on, send me some music. Yeah, I played that. I played all of those last week. Those are better. Well, not better, but it from Bon County. It was a better dollar, but beautiful music. So if you guys, anybody that you're out there, you have music you want us to put on the Liberian Public Radio website. It's a 24-hour music playing throughout. If you go there now, you say www.liberiapublicradio.com and you click on that music. The music playing right now as we speak. So please, if you can send us music, you go on. If you can do it through what will be the best. So even if you can send it on the WhatsApp or if you can send it on my phone, if it's not that big, it should come. If you can do one at a time, we'll be able to put them in there, and so that we'll all enjoy it, because it's a Liberia Public Radio. Liberia Public Radio. Samson, I want to thank you very much for all of the wonderful, wonderful things you guys have done. Turn into Liberia Public Radio, and we will say good night to all of you. Let's meet again tomorrow on Mr. Soul Show, where we will do the best to make sure we hold the conservative people their feet to the fire. The liberal is in charge. Good night, folks.
La marraine de vieille Karina. Plaisir, plaisir. Plaisir, plaisir. Plaisir, plaisir. Ah, si, si. Si, si. Le parrain, elle se laïgo. Ah, si, c'est. Ah, si, c'est. Plaisir, mais bon, Déborah. T'as oublié à Mounia Péloua. Ah, si, si. Si, si. Ah, si, c'est. Les Niabon, les idées à Bailly, Asusu, Asusu, Ade Yakoke, on se marie trop, appelé. Maman qui dit Delphine, ok, Elisabeth Balouké, moi Ade Yakoa. Ade Kelouo, Asike, Sike, 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 Sike. Les Amazones du Guémon, je ne lève bien là-haut, la Brésil. La maman des artistes. Le moment des artistes à Paris. À ma way internationale. Gilet Bosson. Out de plaisir. I don't know where